And welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday morning. It's time for Gardening Inside Out, coming to you live here from the Green Room Studios at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We're here every Saturday morning and have in one form or fashion been that way for a long time. Wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I don't know.
Okay, that was weird. But it's going to be one of those Saturday mornings where everybody's going to want to get out because the weather is just going to be spectacular here in Middle Tennessee. Hope so it is around the country and around the world, because you know you can watch Gardening Inside Out anywhere on this planet.
Indeed.
You notice that one young David Bates is not with us this morning. He will be Adam Chapman sitting in for him.
Yes.
David had an unscheduled appointment on Thursday, I understand, that is precluding him joining us.
Yes. So,
and he'll explain next Saturday.
I think
sure.
so. And I'm very excited to be here this morning because
I can tell.
The weather is great.
Yes, it is.
And as you can see, we have lots of color in the green room here today.
Green and yellow.
Yeah. So, let's go over the weather just a little bit here. As you said, Josh, we are looking at a great day. Now, there are going to be some showers in the afternoon.
That's okay.
So, if you want to get anything done in the yard, right now is a great time. Oh, wait, after the show. Wait till the show's over.
Yes, you have to
then
wait
go
till
out,
9
get your
o'clock.
gardening done. And after this afternoon, when the low front moves through and we get some showers and some storms, hopefully nothing, damaging for anybody. It's going to turn pretty cool again tomorrow. So it's going to be cloudy, and it's going to be a true winter day tomorrow. Cloudy, 45 for the high.
Well,
so
just get out and about on tomorrow.
Sure.
There's nothing going on tomorrow that would be of any note. No.
What? No. Just tomorrow afternoon, just, get a book out and just enjoy the indoors.
Video game.
Yeah, video game, whatever you want to do. And so next week, looks like we have rain chances most days except for Thursday, and it's going to remain cool from what we can see. It looks like it'll warm up a little bit towards the end of the week. So, week to get out and do some stuff. So, Now, who else do we have here in the
We
studio?
have in studio Caroline Gann.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I am here.
And Kev is back.
Oh,
Hey, Kev.
Good morning.
you're back.
I'm back.
And behind the desk, spinning the tunes and dialing the dials and buttoning the buttons is the
Who is
one,
she?
the only. Tyler.
I'm above
There's
you
a
now.
tiny Tyler
Hey.
Cam. When did that happen?
This morning.
Wow. Since I left, you just really moving up, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Literally.
everything has changed.
That's true. We've updated everything.
It's fantastic.
Yep.
Awesome.
But it's good to have you back, Austin.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
Yep. Facebook folks, you're out there. You can join in and ask your questions live. YouTube, you can do the same thing. Hey, we need to get a Twitch response today because we're out there on Twitch.
We are. Yeah, we're everywhere. You can't go anywhere without seeing us.
Well, you can.
No.
Oh, you can't?
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Yep.
Insta. You can get the Insta going.
Well,
on.
I mean, you get out your
Podcast.
your
Run.
magic. You get out your magic rectangle and you push one of those magic squares on there, and it takes you somewhere, and we're there.
You're old enough to remember when TVs actually had rounded corners on the screens.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they were surrounded by these nice wooden cases that you could put stuff on, and
The cat loved it up there. to
oh
sit
yeah,
on
it was
top of the
warm.
wall.
Oh
Man, it
yeah,
was
I would.
wonderful.
I mean, that's where I would be.
And if Austin had been at my house, he'd have been the remote control. Go change the channel, boy.
Yeah.
That's what I had. That was my job. So
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Channel
did that as a
4.
kid.
Okay.
Look at all these people chiming in. I just
Okay.
saw Joyce. Hello, Joyce. It's great to see you.
Okay.
It's been a long time. You said I'm back out on parole. Yeah, I'm out just for the show. Then I gotta go.
Then he's
I gotta
gotta
go
go
back.
Yeah, we had to do a special deal on that
Yeah.
one.
We did.
Caroline, do we have questions already this morning?
We are. We have some questions.
We do.
Are we already ready to get
I
into
don't know
them?
if we're ready to get into them.
You
or
just
not.
wanted to know. You
I
were
just
just
wanted
wondering.
That's right.
Well, yeah, we do have some questions.
Good.
Good.
I'm so ready.
But let's talk about what's going on at the nursery.
Yes.
Okay.
What is going on at the nursery? Stuff is starting to come out, it seems like.
Yeah.
I saw some yews coming out.
Use?
Getting more colorful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not colorful, but more green.
Green's a
Yeah.
color.
Yeah. Well, I guess what you mean coming out is like we have most of our stuff tucked away in the greenhouse right now, and a lot of the stuff is going to come back out into the weather. All those cold hardy things that we're not. We're getting to the point now where it's like we're probably not going to see down to 0 10-0. I mean, maybe.
I hope not.
You never know. I'm not going to jinx it.
It could
Yeah, don't
happen.
jinx us, man.
But for the most part, we think we're pretty well done with that. So those cold hardy things are starting to come back out. And then also things are coming in. We still got pottery coming in.
We got statuary coming in.
Statuary coming
It
in.
was supposed to be here this week, so it did not
Supposed
arrive,
to.
which I was a little bit glad that we didn't get it just yet because we still have lots of pallets of pottery to unpack.
We do. We're still getting ready for the spring season, y'all. We're building tables.
Yes.
We're just getting ready.
Putting up
you know?
walls. We did plastic all day yesterday. That was great.
So it's little things that keep us busy this time of year until the masses show up.
And I know you're ready.
So ready. I hate it when it's so dead out here, y'all. Come out and see me. I go, we need to talk. It's been a while, okay?
Absolutely.
Let's talk plants. It's almost time. Like
Almost.
what do we talk about a lot of times when it comes to like starting seeds? I thought about that this morning. It's like we say, okay, 6 weeks until the last frost date, okay? Typically April 15th. But there's those people that like to set stuff out early, aren't there?
Yes.
It's
Always.
the second week of February. If you started them now, they'd be ready like tomatoes and peppers and stuff would be like third week of March. Now, I'm not saying to set them out then, but I'm saying you already got them.
That's-
And it's a little project to have, a little
That's
seed starting
true.
project.
That's dancing with the devil, right?
It is, but hey, if you're watching that weather, you keep them in pots, you know, it's something to do. It's something to grow. All right?
It's true.
We have had a lot of questions about seed starting and when they can do it.
All these
I
people
gotta-
are itching.
People
I
are
gotta get a
itching
heat
to do
map.
it.
I got to get a heat map. Remind me before we leave today.
Well,
so-
luckily, we sell them here.
yes, I understand.
Did you hear that, everyone? Come
I
visit
hear
us
there
and
are
get a
8
heat
of them
map.
in stock. Looking at the Bates Nursery
Oh,
website.
yeah,
there.
you can,
Yeah.
you can, yes.
You can-
That's
you can-
something you can see on our website
Yes.
here at Bates
Absolutely.
Nursery and Garden Center.
Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. It's going to be a glorious day. Get
It
out and
is.
about. Come out to the nursery and see what's going on. Help move plants out. They'll be glad to let you help.
We're always happy to have people help, have more hands. But yeah, I plan on planting more stuff after work today because it's going to be so nice. But on Monday, I did put 40 plants in the ground. If you didn't listen to the
Nice.
podcast, I did talk about it in our little intro on the podcast.
Nice.
But I finally started digging holes and getting all of those plants that are sitting on my driveway in the ground finally.
And like we talked about, it's a great time to dig right now. I mean, the ground's
was.
super soft.
Yep.
And it's not like just like soaked, muddy soft. It's like nice, kind of workable, soft dirt. Let's get in it.
Let's get in it. Let's
I
start
actually
digging.
moved my eclipse last Saturday. Like I said,
You
I didn't,
did.
I didn't put them in their permanent spot. I had some containers that I, because we're having this project in the backyard, I'm not sure exactly where everything's going to end up. So I took them out of the ground, put them in the containers, and put them in a nice shady spot.
Just staging them for later.
Staging
Yeah,
them
yeah.
for later.
Yeah.
So
Always good. Always good.
They'll be happy.
You
in
don't
their
want
new
to
home.
hastily put something in the ground and go, oops.
see, I did that
that's not
last
the
year
right
with the
spot.
eclipse. So I put them in the wrong spot. I thought it was going to be the right spot.
Then they burned, right?
They burned. Yeah.
Yeah, we
so-
talked about that. Mine is, I'm excited about this year when it comes out to see, because I planted it last year, bloomed like forever, and I'm not going to do anything fertilizer wise. I'm just going to see what it does on its own.
Okay.
I haven't pruned it. Of course, it's still fairly young, so I'm not worried about pruning it. But
Well,
we'll see.
I did
We'll
take
see.
mine back to where I could just find it because it was sad at the end of the year. But they did make it. But I've,
It's a
noticed
pretty tough
cou-
plant, it seems like. But
I've noticed a couple of demises in the yard though, so we having to replace. some
have you played
things.
taps yet?
No,
No.
I can't play the bagpipes like I once did. So
Oh,
you know,
Can't
so-
play it as good when you start to get older. It doesn't
Oh
happen the
my
same
goodness!
way.
Everybody likes to see you back, Austin.
They do. They're
Yeah.
so happy. We did get a live question in. So let's go ahead and get to our questions because we do have quite a few
Yep.
this morning. So Linda on YouTube is asking, first off, she says, Morning Glories, which I love. I applied pre-emergent to my flower garden last week. When should I do the second application?
Well, if it works well, you may not have to do a second application. You know, you kind of now. The funny thing is that if you see, like, if you wait too long and the pre-emergent like doesn't work for everything, because there's spots you're going to miss. Let's be honest. You know, we're not going to perfect everywhere, but for the most part, it's going to do a good job. But if you see an emergent of weed, then at that point you're too late.
Yep.
You know, so
Yeah.
let it sit a month. You know, we're getting to the point. I was actually talking to Ben this morning where a lot of cool season weeds are starting to jump
Yeah.
now. It's getting
Yeah.
to that point to where like daytime temps are warming up at least enough. Nighttime temps aren't getting stupid cold, so you're going to start seeing those cool season weeds jump. And you did great by putting your pre-emergent in, and that's going to stop a lot of that. But like I said, if you do see them popping up, then you know that I'm already too late for the pre-emergent. At that point, you need a post-emergent, which is either your hands pulling them out or something like Roundup.
Well, I can tell you one thing. some cool season weeds didn't even go dormant. I mean, I've got stuff. Wednesday, Rachel and I got out in the yard and we pulled weeds out of our vegetable beds, and it was a lot of henbit and just. There was some. I've never done this before, but because my raised beds are so nice and lush with garden and supernatural, I was able to pull out dandelion roots, like the whole
thing.
root.
Oh, that's
yes.
That probably felt so.
It was
good
cool.
to do.
It was really
when
cool.
When that happens for me, I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's never happened for me.
Never, not once.
Nope, never got the whole dandelion root.
Yeah, I can say that's before that point.
Yeah,
for me,
probably
either,
not.
Never. Yeah.
Well, that means you got a great, super soft
soil
yes. down below. So that is great. Yeah, dandelions coming out all as one. So
you imagine that this pre-emergency talking about is preen.
Probably your snapshot. There's a few different, pre-emergence.
Yeah, with preen, don't make it look like you've got yellow all over the garden. Follow the little thing on the bottle that has.
You don't want to overdo it.
No, you don't. Always follow the directions. Hey, we got a comment on YouTube from a mystery person that says it's a much better look without the old guy on.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
Is that one of David's friends?
It's David.
I was like, who would say that? David, good morning.
That is not true at all. Good morning,
at all.
David.
Yes.
Glad you're out there watching us.
Yes.
Which means we cannot mess up.
Oh,
that's right.
Lord.
We
Serious talk now.
Pressure. The pressure is on, everybody. All right. Someone is asking about pansies. We kind of hit on this a little bit, just talking about people being ready to put stuff in the ground. But they say, is now a good time to plant pansies? And do you all have any? We don't have any.
No, you're right.
I mean, if we had some, sure.
That'd be good.
They're probably going to come back this week. I mean, as nice and warm it's been, you're probably going to start to see from last year.
Well, it's going to be cool this week, but I bet we'll see some at least some viola blooms pretty soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, you're right, Josh. If you were to keep them through the whole year, they're going to start releafing and then start reflowering this spring. It's always the thing about pansies. It's like, do we get our color in now and have it until roughly mid-April? And then you're like, okay, I want to get my, for the rest of the season annuals in. I want that lantana, those pentas, those tunias, all those good things that we really want in the spring. So it's like, do we want that? Do you want to spend some money now on pansies just to have them for like a month and a half? I don't know. For me,
it is pretty. They're not.
It is pretty.
expensive.
And like Adam said, if you planted them now, you'd be great. Like, you're set up for a great, beautiful spring. But then we got to switch them out for the other things.
Yep.
So that's up to you.
Yeah, up to you if you can find them.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have them right now, but we always do get a early stage of pansies, though.
And Julie has talked about that,
Yes.
but we don't know when because she bases it off the weather.
Well, usually though, by the first week of March, first full week of March, we'll have our first bout of cool season vegetables.
Yep.
A few snapdragons, a few pansies, a few violas. So it's coming soon. It's don't rush it.
It'll be here before we know
time
it.
passes quickly enough.
Do some other garden projects. We talked about that a lot on last week's broadcast. What we're all doing in our garden beds, what you can be doing to get ready. So there's things to be done.
Clean up.
Oh yeah, well, like I said,
I used to hear that song all the time.
That's what we did Wednesday, and there's still plenty of things to do. We just went out for a couple of hours, and that's the way I like to do it. I don't like to rush myself or do it all at once. Just go out there and just makes it more enjoyable.
Yeah.
So.
It does when you're not like, I have to get it all done now. All right, stuff is starting to bloom a little bit. I know I have some stuff in my yard. I have daffodils blooming and then a witch hazel. So somebody says, Caroline, Austin said your witch hazel is blooming and I'm thinking about one. Do you have a photo? Yes, we do have a photo. Tyler, there. Oh, he was so fast. So there's my witch hazel, which I was shocked. You can see it's still holding its old leaves from last year. But if you look, you can see it's pretty much in full bloom. I just happened to walk over because I was like, I wonder if the buds are starting to open. And then I was like, well, I would have missed that.
Which variety is this?
I think that's
Arnold's
just,
Promise? Or is
I
it,
think
or
it's
is
just
it
the American witch hazel.
Okay, so
yeah.
Okay.
Which hazel is that? What a joke. Anyway,
I'm so proud.
It was a bad one. But hey, I did talk to that guest the other day. I can't remember who it was exactly, her name, but I do remember her face, and she remembered me, and she talked about this spot in her house area in between two windows. That was this nice kind of open area for a potential witch hazel. And I did bring yours up that was in bloom. So thank you for bringing that up. And yeah, I think that's a good spot for your witch hazel. And we still got a few.
Yeah, we do have a few.
They're
And
blooming here.
I love my witch hazel. Do you have one, Adam? You
Not
have
yet.
one. You have two.
Not
you
yet.
have Diane.
I have witch hazel Diane. It gets huge, folks.
Yeah,
Mine
they do.
does. I keep it.
Yeah,
We have to keep it in bounds.
Yeah, well, the vernal witch hazel, which is what she has, the native one, what Caroline has, gets even bigger.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it's like a small tree.
Oh,
There it is. It was Carol that came out. Carol Caps.
There we go.
Carol.
In all
Shout out
caps,
to
great to
Carol.
see you.
I planted 2 little dwarf panicle hydrangeas in front of my witch hazel
All right.
last Monday.
you
So
go.
I think that's going to be super cute. And I think I spaced it well.
my
We'll
oxalis
see.
loves it underneath witch hazel. It's a gorgeous spot that we've got.
What color do you have? Is it the purple or is it the
Green
just
ones.
green? The green
green
ones?
Green
Yeah.
ones. Yes. I
Yes,
have
of course
purple.
it's the green ones.
course.
What are you talking about, Caroline?
Purple. Okay.
Hey, I see Joyce's comment up there. Do they usually keep the old leaves?
Mine does. Every year.
Mine is too.
I
Yes.
didn't even see that comment yet. Tyler, you're flying through.
Tyler is flying.
Sorry, they pop up really fast.
And I can't read without my glasses on.
Oh, gosh. But yes, Joyce, a lot of times witch hazel does keep their leaves until they want to re-leaf in the spring, and then they'll shed those old ones. There's a lot of plants that do. There's a lot of like red oaks that do that.
Beeches.
Beech trees
Yep.
do it like crazy. So yeah.
Absolutely glorious color for the fall last year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Stunning.
Yeah, it's much better, much more reliable fall color just because it's a native,
Yeah.
So
It's great. Yeah, I touched the leaves because I was like, well, maybe they'll fall off and then I can see the blooms. And they're hanging
stuck.
on.
They stick on
I would
there.
have had to like pull them all off. So I did not do that. We did get a lot of questions about transplanting things. So let's start to get into that. Is now a good time to transplant ornamental grasses? I did that on Monday.
See, so she's the expert. So yes, it's a great time to transplant. She's the transplanting queen.
I am. I transplanted 2 rain dance big blue stems on Monday.
What we
Yes.
always talk about, y'all, is just we want to do this during dormancy as much as we can. Okay, it was still dormant. We're still plenty dormant. Grasses especially are still dormant.
And now is great because the ground, like you
It's
said
soft.
earlier, is soft. It's, you can now you have to be a little careful. You want to make sure that you get as big a root ball as you can handle,
Yeah.
because you want as much of that root system as possible. And what I like to tell folks is go ahead and have that hole ready, the other hole ready, and
Yeah.
Yes.
just take, don't leave it out of the ground for as little as possible.
Exactly.
So
But splitting grasses is easy.
Oh,
right
yeah.
down the middle and move on, right?
Splitting them is easy.
Yeah.
Digging them is not
No,
easy.
they-
No.
Okay.
No,
Especially
luckily-
switchgrass.
These weren't very well established. I planted them last year, and I planted them in too much shade. And I knew it when I planted it. I was like, I'm just going to see, and they were not happy. So I had to move them to a spot in full sun. I have thought about digging up my switchgrass and just splitting them and replanting them because they are getting big, but
It's
that's going to be a... It's
a
also
chore.
planted in an area that was filled with a lot of gravel.
Yeah.
So they might just be there forever and just keep on
they
getting
cling
bigger.
on to everything. Like Adam said, it is great practice to get as much root ball as you can. Now, when it comes with a switchgrass, you have an immense root system down below. So if you start digging at it and you start cutting it and you feel like your root ball is big enough, don't be scared to like sever some of those roots. You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Like those
Yeah.
roots are extensive. So cutting through some roots is not going to hurt that plant. Okay. So get it up. And then like Josh or Caroline said, use that sawzall or regular saw, whatever, saw it up. Get 4 or 6 new grasses out of that thing.
Yep.
Real fast, I will say Ben Trest, who was on the show last week, dug up a bunch of switchgrass last year from
His
a
kid's
pla-
school, yeah.
his kid's school, and he brought some to me, and he brought a lot home as well. And both of us had some that we just set on the ground. It rooted in, and
Yes.
it's doing great
Yep.
because I
Yep.
didn't have time to plant it all, and it's doing just as good as the stuff that I did actually dig a hole
But
in.
Caroline, wouldn't it have been better to take your
Maybe.
switchgrass instead of setting it on top of the ground? Use an earth mix garden product.
most
Is part of
certainly
it?
would have been
that would have
better.
been better practice. I would
Most
have thought.
certainly, most certainly. And with grasses, I would recommend our garden soil. Earth mix garden would be great for that. If you're going to plant it straight into something, perfect. If you were say you're transplanting and you've got that, the new spot ready and you've got the hole dug, well, then you can use some either landscape, earth mix landscape, or earth mix supernatural. Mix it up with the soil there. And if you don't happen to be near Bates Nursery, there's plenty of places
Absolutely.
to get it. And if you want to find out if there is a place near you where you can get these wonderful soils, just go to earthmix.net, click on Find Earth Mix, and type in your zip code, and it will show you.
They're everywhere.
That we're everywhere.
Everywhere.
We're everywhere. So, it's great stuff. As I was mentioning before, with my raised beds, I've got Earth Mix Garden, and then every year I just replenish the nutrients with Earth Mix Supernatural, and I've had a garden. I've had the best gardens I've ever had my whole life, and it's been successive years. Like it's definitely proven itself. So, come on out. If you're near Bates Nursery and you need a lot of it, you don't have to buy it in bags. You can buy it in bulk. If you need, say, a yard, like with the raised bed, 4x8 by 1 foot raised bed, one full scoop, 1.25 cubic yards of garden fills it perfectly.
And you get a super sack if you need it delivered.
Sure. You can do that as well. We can deliver super sacks, which is 1.3 cubic yards, so about the same. Just give us a call, or if you're not that near to us, then go to the website. You can find where you can get it.
Yeah, ask your independent garden center to get it if they don't. And they can go to that top corner there and have a dealer inquiry, and a representative will be in touch with them. So.
Yes, we'll be in touch.
Okay, but it takes 4 things in this world to make your plants happy.
It does.
You got to have a plant.
You got to have a plant.
Got to have some water,
sunlight,
and soil. Earth mix.
Good soil. Yes,
absolutely.
Which is Earth Mix.
All right. Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
You know what? Before we move on, Adam just nailed it on the head. We got to say this every year. It's a succession thing every year. Okay, so if you haven't started it yet, it is a great practice to do it. You're starting your raised bed. You're starting your garden plot in the ground, whatever it is. But every year you add that stuff. So the stuff from the previous year and the stuff from the previous year is still breaking down and making all. I just recently read this fungus book to my daughter. So it's a really cool book. It's a kid's book. She's like 7. Dad. It was great. It's like Fungus Among Us book or whatever. And it's talking about all the fungi in the world and everything. And it's talking about soil and how the leaves break down and the wood breaks down and all this good stuff. Like, we've already done that for you pretty much, got it started to break down. And then you keep adding that every year. And then you're getting this network of fungus that just like all works together with plants. It's this whole thing. It's a magical thing. It's amazing what a children's book can even tell you sometimes. So
learn a lot.
All of that down below helps what's up top.
Yes, well that's true. So in all the Earth Mix products, they are inoculated with endo and ectomycorrhizae.
Yes,
and humic acid. So
it just gets the ball rolling a little bit quicker on those things breaking down and adding to what you want to grow.
Yep. Hey. Not to mention an amendment called mushroom compost.
That too.
My
that's right.
Goodness gracious.
That part.
Yep.
Austin?
Yes, Tyler.
You're a fun guy in the world.
Thanks, man. Thanks,
one.
Tyler.
Hey, Tyler Cam was huge that time.
That was. He had a big joke for that one.
Big joke for my big head. All right, here we go. Like I said, the goat.
Oh, hey, the goat's back.
The goat is.
He wandered off out of the other pasture for a while, but the goats are back. Okay, and you know what? Let's talk about a big subject. Okay, and this is ground covers. Not the most exciting subject on the planet, but it's a big topic. A lot of people love ground covers, and there are no shortage of ground cover options out there. But for succulents, grasses, spreading ground covers, aggressive ground covers, whatever. What you want to do is cover the ground, so you obviously cover the ground. You don't see that, and then you kind of choke out weeds a little bit, which is very, very helpful in a garden, especially in Middle Tennessee. Okay, so what is one of our favorite ground covers that there is? Juniper. There's a lot of ground cover junipers, okay? And they're great. They're evergreen. They're extremely drought resistant. Some native. Some you can live on rocks. I mean, just porous soils you can imagine. Very, very good plants for coverage, okay? And there's multiple options. There's the blue Pacific juniper. There's blue rug junipers. There's blue chip. There's golden Pacific. There's procumbens nana. You don't even know those words. But all of those junipers live on the ground, and they do very well here. Mostly on the blue scale, some silvery, some blurple. Shout out Ben, who likes to say blurple, bluish, purple. It's kind of what they look like. But you know what? I'm talking about the goat today. Caroline grows the goat.
I do.
You know. Is your goat growing?
I can't remember what it is.
Yeah,
Yes, it is growing, and it looks great. It's showing off right now.
What she's talking about is the all gold juniper.
I love it.
Okay? This is a specific variety that Isley Nursery out in Oregon grows. It is fantastic. It usually comes in a 1 gallon, sometimes a 3. They are spready, sprawly fellas. I got them at the house. They're fantastic, okay? golden, even through the wintertime months. A lot of the golden plants, yes, like dull a little over the wintertime. This one is not that one, okay? I planted 3 little 1 gallons in a tight little triangle. They grew together as I knew they would, and they filled this way. Probably in a close to, I would say, 8 foot wide, like from 3 in the middle, gotten out to like 8 feet wide. That's how much they grew over the past 2 or 3 seasons, okay?
Oh, man.
I've never put a trim to them ever, except for this year. And Tyler, show them the first picture, okay? Let's just show you what the all gold looks like. Now, I'm going to preface this. This was about 2 months ago. You can even see my cute little ginkgo holding on to those yellow leaves. This was when they were dropping. But look below that. That's the all gold. That's that space filler thing that it does. And there are no weeds in that, y'all. Not any. There's plenty of weeds in the bed. Don't start looking. But right in the middle of that juniper, you don't see any, okay? It just chokes out everything. It's great for that spot. But what do you see? Starting to get out into the grass a little bit. On the right side, starting to get in my driveway a little bit. On the back side, I got a weeping Japanese maple. It's starting to want to climb that maple. Like, it's gotten that big, okay? So people ask me all the time, like, juniper's weird. Like, it's one of those things that you don't really think about pruning all that. It's not like a boxwood. It's not like a holly where you can just really see how to prune it. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit trickier. But I'll show you. This is what I did, Tyler. I went and I formaled that thing up. Y'all know me. I got to get it back in check. Show them.
So formal,
sorry.
Austin.
Show them, Tyler.
Hold on.
I created a little juniper cake.
Go.
Look, it's like a little I don't know. It's a cake. Yeah, I want to put that in the oven. But look, we just squared it up, all on the edges. I cleaned up all the weeds. The ginkgo has finally lost its leaves. You see that up front. The weeping maple in the back lost its leaves. It's all dormant. And then look, all the juniper is tidied up. Now, I did take that gold out of it by pruning it. It's okay. It is going to explode this spring, and it's going to fill that space exactly how I wanted to. The all gold juniper, people, as a ground cover, it is the GOAT. Grow it. Thank you.
It really is. You talked me into it because you already had it in the ground, and you talked about it all the time, and I needed I wanted an evergreen ground cover. So I was like, I'll just bite the bullet and do it. And I'm so glad I did.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Mine look great right now. I don't have to prune mine just yet. I'm sure one day I will, though. One day it will happen.
And look, there's another variety called Golden Pacific Juniper, which is a nice juniper, don't get me wrong. But it is not as good as the all gold. I'm telling you, that cultivar is superior when it comes to junipers.
We have a juniper in this room.
Yes, we do.
We will talk about it during the What's in Room segment, but that might be the next juniper I am adding to my garden bed.
I already got it.
That's cool.
Do you really? Does yours look that colorful right now? Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to get some.
I could see she's jealous.
I need some. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get some. All right, so we got an email in about something that we touched on last week. This comes from Jesse on the show today, which was last Saturday. You were talking about pawpaws. I just planted 3 young pawpaws last fall. I probably would have gotten just one, but needed more to cross-pollinate. Mm-hmm. I like the look of them in the understory, but in full sun, they look kind of funny. Stay with me. Bunch of big leaves, too dense. Not sure why it looks so funny, but it does. Earlier in the show, you were talking about Frankenstein blueberries, multiple shrubs planted in the same hole. That's what we talked about on the podcast. Mm-hmm. Austin talked about putting multiple or different types in one hole, so you have one shrub that cross-pollinates itself, basically. Mm-hmm. And now I'm wondering if I could do that with my pawpaws. Instead of 3 funny-looking trees, I'd have one funny-looking tree with 3 stems.
Isn't that how they grow in nature? They kind of colonize.
They do. So I have them in my woods, and I'll have little stands of them where they're planted very, very close together.
That's because where the fruit falls and it lays right there on the ground, or a
so
raccoon
this listener
plants a planet for you.
This listener is wondering if that would work, if she could just move all of those into one hole, basically, and if it will cross-pollinate.
Yes, they will. It'll certainly work. What you might have to do is, the pawpaws are small trees, okay, as they grow. So, I mean, they will get bigger and older and all that. So, when you do plant them all together like that, some pruning might have to be achieved over the wintertime just to stop a lot of, stem growth on the interior of the plant. We really want good airflow. Good airflow really helps with pollination like crazy. It also helps with disease pressure, minimalizing that. So you might have to do a little bit of pruning that way.
What I could see it looking like is like a 3 or 4 trunk crepe myrtle.
Pretty much.
That's what it would look like.
Yeah, it'll be a clump or a multi-stem type plant.
So just take them side by side and put them right in the same hole.
Literally, you can do that. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, that's how you think about in the woods all the time, y'all. There's a 50-foot oak tree right next to a 70-foot maple that are 6 foot from each other. As long as there's available nutrient down below, these plants aren't going to compete with each other. That's a very common word people use, but it's they're not necessarily they are, I guess, technically competing for sunlight and nutrients, but our soil, y'all, is impeccable, and the amount of soil they have for the roots to establish and go in any different direction you could imagine.
Well, particularly with pawpaws in nature grow, like we were saying, in these low areas where a lot of the organic matter kind of settles in these places. So yeah, as long as you've got good, rich soil for them to grow in, they'll be great.
Sounds like they're heavy feeders in the landscape, though. So
they can be, but I think they can be kind of adaptable. I mean, they're a native, so they're gonna be able to, wide range of areas. But that's generally where you
find them. Yeah, that's where they want to be in nature if they can help it. Yeah, and it's one of those only fruit trees that really likes kind of wet feet. Like it's okay with wet feet. There's not a ton that are like that. So if you got that site, it's fine too. And they're plenty shade tolerant. You got that massive
very
leaf.
shade tolerant.
So
I have them like in my woods, growing right on my creek between big rocks, and they're doing fine.
Yeah, I mean, they've evolved to have this massive leaf on them, so they expand their surface area as much as possible.
Man, she's got a creek.
I do have a creek. I do. I know. I'm a little bit spoiled.
And she's jealous of my
I will
ground
say,
cover?
getting down to that creek can be tricky, and I've fallen down that hill multiple times. So it's not like I walk out of my house and I see this beautiful little stream.
Have you got
I have to almost lose my life to get there.
Have you got rhododendrons?
No, there's no rhododendrons, and it's not a big creek. I'd say it's more of a stream, but it does run year round. And I found a couple box turtles hanging out in there, which is pretty cute. All right, we got a live question in from Joyce.
Joyce.
Someone in this room might be upset by this question.
Oh, Joyce.
Joyce says, I'm thinking of adding a smoke bush. Why? What's your favorite variety? I love them. I love how they look. I love how they look when they're blooming. I mean, they look like it's smoke, hence the name smoke bush.
Well, it really should be called smoke tree.
Yes.
Because they get very big. Well, the native one, what is it? Cotinus, was it Americanus or whatever it is?
Yeah, it's that.
Is green, green leaves, but that one's really cool.
It does the best.
Royal purple it's just such a. It's been around a long time, and it just has done really well. Over
They don't
the years.
age real well.
Well, I think what happens is I think you really have to be, and I think this is probably why Austin doesn't like them as much. You really have to be on them. Like you really have to like shape them, prune them like every year.
So like your backdoor neighbor that doesn't take care of his smoke bush? Okay.
Exactly.
Right.
It's exactly what happens. You're right. They get ratty. So, I mean, the site selection is absolutely crucial if you don't want to do any pruning. If you want to set it and forget it type of tree, then site selection.
Yeah, you got to have a big spot.
Yes.
10 years ago, that hedge was absolutely amazing. Beautiful privacy in the summertime. In the spring, it was just amazing. But now, not so much.
Well, it needs a little TLC.
David has one that he says Renee is very good at staying on top of.
She keeps it hedged, I think, kind of like she keeps it real tight.
Real tight.
Well, and that's how you're going to get the most color, really, is, and be able to see that color. 'Cause when they get big, all that foliage is up above you, so it's not as easy to see.
And the flowers, the smoke flowers are all sporadic. Like if you keep that tight, you get this really tight smoke.
That's beautiful.
That's what we want.
Absolutely
Tight
gorgeous.
smoke.
Yeah.
I have one I haven't planted yet because I'm kind of scared.
You should be. You should be frightened.
You should be terrified to plant that. Maybe I'll plant it today. I don't know. All right, let's get back to some of our transplanting questions.
Okay.
We're going to talk lilac now. When is a good time to move a lilac bush?
Well, that's a little trickier because of when they bloom. They bloom so early. I would say it's still probably okay right now. They're probably still mostly dormant. It depends on how tight their buds are, which I've seen a few, and they're still pretty tight. So you could transplant it now. Just using the same advice that we gave earlier. And depending on the lilac, it's one of those plants I love, but it's one of those carryovers from 100 years ago when it was almost the only flowering plant that anybody planted around here, and it's just a little too hot for them here. The summertime just really now. I mean, they're tough; they'll come right back.
Oh yeah, they live, and And when we transplant this time of year, like with a lilac, like Adam says, like their buds are set for their bloom this spring, and there's a lot of plants that are like that. So if we do transplant now, if they go through a period of like stress, over the winter, we may not get that just awesome flower show that you really, really want because of the stress of moving it. But now's still the time to move it. Okay, even if we don't get that flower show, we need it in its new home. So
Don't
it starts
dawdle.
to
Don't dawdle.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and get that done.
No
Don't you do it.
procrastination.
How about, is it too late to transplant a hydrangea?
No.
Nope.
We got to get this question at least every other
Yeah,
week.
that's
Oh
fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's hydrangea. I mean, it's
I transplanted one on Monday. I don't know what kind it was. It was a mystery one that I got here
Okay.
2 years
Well, that's
ago.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we don't
I
have to
moved
worry
it.
about hydrangea at all. I mean, those are summer blooming plants. Like they're not setting bud yet for their flowers. Like you're fine. Get those things moved.
All right. How about this? Mm-hmm. I need a smallish plant in a damp, full sun area to help with erosion.
Oh, what a great question.
Spirea. Dwarf
Spirea would do well. Switchgrass definitely.
Yes.
For erosion control was
I mean,
very
you talked
commonly
about that
used.
when we talked about transplanting them or just digging them up to separate
Their
them.
roots are insane.
Yeah.
If you need to hold on to some earth, switchgrass is certainly the one for you. Itea and sweetspire, now not the greatest for erosion because their roots are somewhat surface, but they do make a stand as well, and they live in a wet spot just fine with multi-season interest. As a native plant, Itea is something that people should be growing. Really good one. Hey, Amsonia, shout out to Bridge. That's a great
that
fall
one would
blooming.
be great. Yeah.
That's a perennial. I mean, it drops dormant over the winter, but fall color is fantastic. Blue blooms in the spring, and it handles wet just fine.
Yeah, it's a stunning one. I see them across the road from us. There's a rain garden bed, and they have a ton of Amsonia
Yeah, they used them
there.
in there. And they've done really well.
Yeah, they look, they're so good. They're so pretty in the spring when they're flowering, like you said, and in the fall, that color, it's like a rainbow. I've brought it on the show before to feature it in the fall. It's something else.
It's really
I'll
great.
tell you what.
And shout out Tyler over there to your monarch butterflies. The old small swamp milkweed would do fine in that spot.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep. Sure would, buddy.
So you could use that. There's a lot of options.
Do
Those are just a few.
Do you think swamp milkweed does good in wet spots?
Yeah. Hence the name.
I don't know.
Swamp.
Yeah. Swamp milkweed.
Uh-huh.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right, you already talked about spirea in that a little bit, so let's move to that question.
Okay.
When, if ever, should spirea be pruned? And that comes from Miriam, friend of the
Hey,
show. Good
Miriam.
morning, Miriam.
Well, most spirea will, a lot of the older varieties bloom on last year's growth because they're one of the first things to bloom. They bloom kind of when forsythia blooms. Those white ones like
Those big white ones,
Van
yeah.
Hootie and all
Yeah.
that. But even still, if you don't mind losing, most of your blooms, you can prune them right now just fine. It's not going to hurt them. But generally, if you want to see the blooms this year, then you would prune right after they're done with that first heavy bloom. A lot of the new ones, like
Whack them when you get that.
yeah, they can take they're one of the plants that you can really prune them hard if you need to.
Oh, yeah. And, like you just said, the new ones, some of those, like they have, hence the name, like double play,
Yeah.
like a lot of those, because if you let them bloom like they're going to do in the early spring, like Adam said, let them be beautiful, and then give them a halfway cutback, they reflush and rebloom. That's
Yeah.
that double play they're talking about. Their new varieties now are excellent at reblooming as long as you cut. If you don't cut them, they're not going to rebloom all that great.
Yeah.
So do that.
You want to encourage that new growth because that's what they're going to set buds. So yeah.
And they're
Great
beautiful when you
question,
cut them back and you get a reflush in the summer of like different colored leaves atop of green ones. And then you get a bloom atop of that. Like spirea is a good plant, y'all. Like you need easy, set it and forget it type of plant. Like spirea is probably for you.
Yep.
Especially something that doesn't get just stupid big. At least a lot of the newer cultivars.
Right.
It stays little and compact. Got some live questions. One from Linda. When is a good time to trim my lilac? It's about 7 years old.
Okay.
I'd say not now.
Not now. Nope. Well, like we just talked about, all those buds are set for spring. So let them bloom this spring. Let's enjoy that lilac. Let's go out and smell it. Because that's fantastic.
Yes.
And then when it doesn't smell no more, cut it in half.
Cut it in half.
I mean, if it's 7
That's
foot.
the perfect way to describe that. When
It really
doesn't
is, though.
smell
You
no
give
more,
it a great
in
cut,
half.
and it flushes nicely,
back out.
nice and tight. And then it gives you a bunch more sticks to play with to where next winter it sets those buds on all of those sticks, not just a few of them. And then you got an amazing show. And you can just be smelling for 2-3
Forever.
weeks. Yeah, forever.
Mine is covered in buds right now. I can't wait until they start to partially open.
They will.
They don't usually open all the way. And then we have one more live question from YouTube from Carol. I moved my midnight marble hibiscus 2 weeks ago. Will it do well and flower this year?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yes,
Yeah.
it will. Uh-huh.
Yeah, should
For the
be
most
good.
part, they do fine.
What color are the blooms, Carol?
Midnight Marvel's typically dark purple
Dark.
leaves with a
With red
bright
bloom.
red bloom.
Yeah.
You know all about those.
I grow that one actually at the house.
Hibiscus,
Yeah. Carol, what a beautiful plant. I love hibiscus. I want to get behind it, but the amount of bugs that get on hibiscus
Yeah.
is so annoying to me
It
that
is.
I'm like getting rid of mine. Carol, I'm sorry. I'm just going to look at your pictures. You do
Well,
great.
It's mainly Japanese beetle, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they're horrible, but also sawfly larvae. You know the
That's
sawfly
true.
that gets on dogwoods and
Yes,
stuff?
and-
They love it.
And they get on, knockouts.
Oh, yeah.
Sawfly
Definitely. Yeah, the rosefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, sawfly larvae. There's a bunch of different sawflies out there, but they love hibiscus. It's so annoying.
You know, I know where Austin's going to go when he cuts down and digs up his hibiscus. I know
Yeah.
where he's going to go and get a replacement.
Where do you think?
Bates Nursery. and Garden Center.
You're probably right.
Okay.
Bates Nursery and Garden Center, located right here in Middle Tennessee, Whites Creek Pike, Whites Creek, Tennessee.
Yeah, Whites Creek,
beautiful, beautiful place. And yeah, we have even right now we have a great selection. Most of it's inside, some
Yep.
of it's outside. Very soon, it will be all
Everywhere.
outside. It'll be everywhere. Yes. So come on out and see us. 3810 Whites Creek Pike, Nashville, Tennessee, 1 mile north of Briley Parkway.
0.9.
Yes, 0.9. If
Thanks,
we're
Josh.
being very specific,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, so come out and see us. We've got all the Earth Mix products. We've got some great plants. We have great talent here.
Yes, you do.
Lots of minds here to ask any
Don't
question
forget the
you
garden center. All the goodies that are inside the garden center.
I mean,
You
we've got
the spoma
a
lines, you
great
got all the-
selection of tropicals in there. Thanks to Caroline. So,
And
yeah, come
Sarah.
on out and see us. It's going to be a nice day until later.
pottery. You haven't got any pottery.
Yeah, we got a few.
Adam got to
pots.
unload a truck of pottery earlier this week, and he was so happy to be doing it.
Yeah, happy.
When he heard that call over the radio that there was a semi full of pottery in the parking lot, you
So
should have seen
happy.
how fast he drove that machine up here.
So happy. Look, I like.
Screaming at the top of his voice
Right,
all
right,
of
right.
the
Yeah.
expletives.
Well,
Yes,
it's a little one of those things where you mess up
once.
on unloading pottery and it's not good.
Not
It's
good.
Not good. So,
Now, did you mess up once, and that's why you love it?
No.
Okay,
No,
you
I
never
have not.
would mess up.
well, I have a very good imagination and I can see what will
could happen.
happen if I
Yes.
mess up. So, but anyway, thank you everyone for letting us, tell you about Bates Nursery.
Yep.
Come on out.
Good. Check out the website.
Yeah,
The
website's great.
inventory is fully
BatesNursery.com.
searchable. So
Search the website for,
sign up
whatever
for
you're looking
David's
for.
newsletter. Comes out once
yes,
a week.
Yes, yes.
It's a 2-minute read.
Masterfully written.
Yes.
You can scroll down just a little bit to the sign up button. It's right there.
Right there. Right there.
Oh, you already scrolled past it.
Oh,
right there.
it
It
is.
is.
Wow.
Sign
Newsletter.
Up. Sign up.
Boom.
And it was a good newsletter this week because David talked about kind of that we're in that transition.
Yes, he
It's like
did.
we still got cold, we got warm days that are getting us all jiggy, ready to go. I don't know where that word came from, but it happened, and we're getting ready to do stuff. But
I'd
hey,
say
let's
Will
settle.
I think that word came from Will Smith.
Yeah,
And you just let that come out of your mouth.
yeah. Sorry,
And
but
we're all here
anyway,
to hear it.
hey, I'm back. Who knows what's gonna happen?
That's true.
That's exactly
But yeah,
right.
let's not get too antsy in our plantsy. Let's just chill it out a minute, do the things we can, but not too much.
It's hard though.
It's getting there.
warm.
I know.
It's getting pretty. But there are some things you could plant, and we have those things in this room right
Well, there's
now.
tons of things we can plant.
Absolutely.
What's in room with Caroline?
I missed that. Sorry, big car. You do you.
All right, so we went for a variegated theme today. Actually, Austin picked this theme out today and helped me bring all this stuff in the green room. So we've got, obviously, a lot of holly. I think that I heard while we were bringing this in
Obviously.
that
Yeah.
Adam loves variegated holly. Is that right?
Well, that might not be true. Let me say this. I don't mind them. I the variegated English hollies. The problem with them they just don't grow much. Like you put them in the ground and they just sit there. They don't die. They don't die. They live, but they'll grow maybe a couple inches a year, maybe,
Yeah, that's it.
and that's it. I think it's just the nature of the plant. And so if you want one that's got some size to it, you got to spend a few
Spend some bucks, yeah. And it's worth it.
But it is worth it if you've got the spot and
Yeah.
you want to give your a little pop of color somewhere. So yeah.
Look at the beauty we have in this room.
Oh,
Yeah, look at the corners.
So
man.
let's take you on a tour. In the corners, we've got, I don't remember what kind this is, but it's a variegated holly behind both
Variegated English
me
holly.
and...
That's what Adam was just talking about.
Oh, variegated English holly. Thank you, Adam. Perfect. So, like
From
Adam said, you
Monrovia.
could start big. We've got these. We also have 2 giant ones in stock that are even bigger than this. So if you're like, look at my forehead right there, you can get on out here and get you some. And then next to it, we've got some variegated yucca. This actually came in yesterday, or maybe it was the day before. I think this one is Color Guard, would be my guess, because I did not look at the tag. But Color Guard is a great one. I actually do a little install with a friend of mine each year, and I repot his Color Guard every 2 years. And it looks great through the winter. Repotting that is a not fun job, but that is a great one if you want
protection.
some winter color. It is up on a rooftop downtown. It gets
my.
blasted with full sun, and he absolutely loves it. It's huge now. And then under the TV, we've got some Hugendorn hollies. These are a variegated one. Look at the yellow that's on top.
Nice
Wow.
and soft leaves too.
It is. It's
prickly.
not. It's not poking. I could lay down in that and take a little nap if I wanted to. Not going to do it because I might ruin our inventory.
Love me some Hugendorn.
Do you, Tyler?
Yeah, I just like the look of it a lot.
good holly.
I'm kind of a fan. I'm not mad at it. Not
Also
mad
love
at
saying
at
it.
all.
It's like Hoobastank. Hugendorn.
Your favorite band, Tyler.
No,
Wow.
that's not true.
It is true. Tyler's always listening to Hoobastank when I come into the green room. But let's go ahead and look at what we have in front of us today. So we've got some smaller variegated English hollies in front of us. Austin
and
is going to
those
show
are
that
are
off.
those not the male
Wait,
ones?
which
Austin?
ones? The pale ones or these down here?
They are
The
the
ones at the
Gold
very bottom.
Coast holly, if that helps you at all.
And those are male, I believe, right?
So we've got the boys down right there on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the bigger ones are the females.
Oh, wow.
Males.
Yeah.
And then what we have in front of us, you look
Oz.
at it and you say,
Ozzy.
wow, Adam,
Ozzy.
Adam,
Ozzy.
Adam. You say, that looks like a holly right there. But this is actually a variegated osmanthus, the
Ozzy.
plant that has those blooms that smell like heaven. Oh, my gosh. Look how cute that is. And there's actually a really good price on this one. I think they're like $24.99. So
Not
you
even.
can't beat that.
Even less.
I will still never plant osmanthus here because all of mine died in that 2022 freeze, which I know probably won't happen again. But I was so heartbroken because mine were so big that I just haven't been able to even think about planting them again. And then we've got some variegated sedge in front. We've got a nice lean on this. These are actually little like 2-inch pots, maybe 3-inch pots that we have back in shade perennials. So if you're looking to plant a bunch of stuff on a budget, this is a great option for you.
And what's great about Carex is it's evergreen.
There you go. And it's evergreen. And then what we've talked about, what we touched on this morning that Josh has in his landscaping and that I really, really want to bring in, this is motherlode juniper. So in the spring, the summer, it's very green, but the winter color on this is insane. You can't really see it. I don't think you can see it as well with the camera, but there's so many different colors in these with the winter interest that it has. It's like a rainbow of colors.
That's got an Isley label on it too.
That truck's going to be coming in soon.
Oh my gosh, that's one of the best days here at the nursery.
End
And
of this month.
usually it comes in on Monday, and Austin's not here.
Yeah.
Or
He
me.
doesn't have to help unload it.
Get to come in on Tuesday
But
and look at it all.
I feel like Austin would rush here if y'all called him to be like, the Isley truck just pulled in, because watching him unload these trucks, like when we get the Rose truck in, and I know we've gotten Isley in once before, not on a Monday because I was here.
Yes. Not
he
every time.
is so excited about it. I mean, he just gets up in that truck and he's like, y'all put this here, that goes there, that goes there. And just pulling all of those gorgeous Isley plants off of the truck is just, I mean, stunning to watch happen.
it's
if
the
he's
start
here.
of the spring season.
Yeah.
It is.
It's great.
And y'all, if you do not follow Isley Nursery on social media, as soon as
Do
this
it.
broadcast is over, don't stop looking at us. But once we end this broadcast, go look up their account. They do tours through their
yeah.
gardens that
It's
are
stunning.
just,
Stunning.
it's the best thing
Yep.
ever. I could just watch their Instagram for hours. I mean, they do walks in the snow and the fog. You get to see all of these plants that we talk about on the show, like what they could look like, and basically in their happiest habitat. Maybe not so
Yeah.
much here,
Yeah,
but
Boring
they're up in
Oregon has
Oregon
yes,
where
Probably
it's a
the-
little bit different.
The least boring thing in boring Oregon.
That's correct. But you get a chance to see what these plants can really, really do. And it's their social media is insane. And then our feature plant that we have today, we've got a variegated cast iron plant, y'all. This is a great shade perennial. We get
Thanks,
just like
Vanna.
the standard cast iron plant that's solid green in here all the time. But Austin and I saw this and said,
It's
there's our
pre-season.
feature plant right there.
That one's pre-season too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pre-season cast
Cast
iron.
iron.
Good one, Josh.
That I got to say, that's one of the most underused shade-loving
I
perennials.
think so, yeah.
Because it just does what it does. It stays green. This one's variegated, which is even cool. But it lives in like moist, wet, shade area that stays up in evergreen. It's got cool leaves.
I got a
it's
spot.
great.
I might put one of those because when we were out there on Wednesday, I think I found a place to put that teddy bear magnolia that I don't have to dig up my Vitex for.
Nice.
But it means I got to make a new bed, which is cool. Which means I got another place to put stuff, and I've got a spot that I might do that.
It's you
Cast
want
iron.
It's a set it and forget it type of perennial. Like that is the one for that.
That is. And Adam, that is our last one that we have here. So
You better buy it.
he's going to take
He's
it
just taking
off
it.
the
Just
Lazy
steal it.
Susan out
It's
of
gone. It's gone. That's how
All
fast
right.
things go here.
Joyce, if you were going to
Okay,
come out and
that's-
buy that today, it is already spoken for.
Sorry, Joyce, but you better come out here today because I haven't seen you in a long time. So
Very
come
long
on out.
time.
Let's chat.
We've gotten to see Joyce quite a few times. I think Joyce was in here twice last week.
Thanks. What you was trying to rub it in?
Well, I loved seeing Joyce.
Well, I missed her though.
I know. And I'm sure she missed you too.
We'll see you in a minute, Joyce.
We'll see you soon, Joyce. But let's go ahead and dive into some more questions. All right, Pam asked a question on Facebook. I
Hey,
bought
Pam.
2 Ito peonies from you recently. My tidy gardener helped me plant them. I'm new to Ito. Are they easy to propagate?
Propagate.
Propagate. They're kind of woody.
Yeah.
So I would imagine if you take steps like sterile potting medium, rooting hormone. I mean, you
One.
They're so expensive.
Hey, I
John.
know Pam, and I know Pam ain't just willy nilly buying stuff. She
Okay.
loves a good deal on some cheap plants, and like we talked about. This was almost 4 weeks ago. Pam's landscaped most of her yard with our buck a gallon
Yeah.
stuff over the
Yeah.
years.
That's okay.
She knows how to buy that stuff that they look a little rough, but she's gonna save her money, and it's gonna be fine.
That's how I am, Pam.
But yeah, you're right. If we're gonna do Ito peony divisions, it's probably like find your eyes that are
Yeah.
on the the buds that poke from the bottom, and try your best to carefully separate some of those eyes. Getting some root with each one of those little root divisions, and then setting them will be your best bet on that. But Itos, they kind of take a minute to get multiple
Yeah.
eyes. It's like,
Yeah.
they'll send like 2 or 3 the first season, maybe. The next season, maybe 5. And it's kind of slow.
I
Yeah.
started from, I have a couple different Itos, but one I started from just a bare root peony that we got here at the nursery, and it was very affordable for one. It was like $20. It didn't come up the first year. I thought it was just dead. Second year, just one.
I was about to say, it'll have like one eye that'll
Third
crack.
year, like 2.
Yeah.
So that one is very slow going. And that, just kind of
Patience.
proved how much
Patience.
patience you have to have.
Yep.
Okay, someone is so ready to get their houseplants out of their house. They are asking, when can I start moving houseplants outside again? Soon. It's been so warm out. No. Unless you're one of those people who wants to just be moving your plants in and out, which I would say isn't necessarily great for the health of your houseplants. I usually wait until about Mother's Day when I put my warm weather vegetables in ground. That's when I'll start moving my houseplants out. So you've still got a while. I know.
About to say,
we wanna
Caroline,
bring
it's
them
so
out.
far away.
It's so
Mother's
far
Day,
away.
my God.
I know.
It's
These people need to get them out.
But
It's really-
listen,
it's
we
really
get
not.
those
It's
late
really
freezes,
not.
we
Yep.
get late frost, and it's going to happen. So if you start moving them out now, you're going to be moving them back in again. But, this time of year, you can just take time cleaning your plants. I talked about that last week. Talk to your plants. Be like, soon
Yes.
you'll be outside.
Yeah,
It'll be
definitely
time.
reassure your plants.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay.
You'll be in the sunshine soon enough. Okay, and Gina asked a question on our YouTube. What should I do for my Natchez crepe myrtles that have dark places on the trunks that I assume are from aphids? Should I trim the dark places off or spray them with dormant oil or ...
You physically
The
clean
matches,
first,
yes.
y'all. I know it's annoying. It's not a fun practice to do. But yeah, all that black sooty mold that's left over on the stems, to get that completely off, like you need to wash it off.
Just
Get
a
you an
little
old
Scotch
wash rag.
or a Scotch-Brite pad.
Exactly.
and it works
Anything that's got
perfect.
some friction to it to
Yeah.
get some water on there. Harsh. I
Scrubbing,
usually
get
say
to
like
scrubbing.
a low pressure washer can be helpful as long as you're not cutting into the stems. Like getting it off. I'm telling you, the physical just removal of it is the way to go to really get rid of it. Now, after that, you can spray with the dormant oil to really coat the stems to help with any overwintering eggs that may happen on the plant. But really, a physical removal is the way you need to go about it. And any pruning you want to do, definitely is this time of year to do it.
Patches, my goodness, it'll grow back.
Oh, God, yeah. You go 6 foot in a
grow back
season.
this year.
Yeah. Those are big. Those are cool. Hey, Joyce asks, how soon for Isley?
It's the end of this month. I got confirmation.
So 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yep.
End of February, that starts to roll.
Very soon, Joyce. Don't worry. We'll let you know. You will know when they're getting here. Okay. What can I do about Japanese beetles? We already talked about this a little bit, but this viewer is asking every year they eat my roses.
Well, the Beatles
Yeah,
they won a
Same
Grammy
girl.
again this year.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
They did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Ringo's got a new album coming out too, country album.
Going to be at the.
But if you wanted to destroy them, how would you do it? Because those little,
Call the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to roses and Japanese beetles, you have to spray early and often.
Yep.
I'm telling you, you have to. And I hate the spray more than anybody. Like, really, I hate it. But
No.
if you want roses in Middle Tennessee and you don't want Japanese beetles eating them, you got to spray.
They're
No,
very
here-
cyclic too. Folks.
Yeah. So
I mean,
what I found, at least the only roses I have, well, Rachel has some other rose that she likes, but the only roses I planted are knockouts. The good thing about knockouts and even drift roses is even if you do get damage, like you were saying, Josh, it's cyclical, and that those shrubs will flush right back out and bloom again. And it's I just kind of just like with the sawfly larvae,
Yeah.
I just let it happen, prune out any really bad spots, and just let them
the
flush back out.
pheromone-based bags work, but they will need to put them away from.
Yes,
anything
you want to
that's
draw
just-
them away from your plants. You don't want to draw them towards your
Hang
plants.
them
Yeah.
on the mailbox
Yep,
because
that's
there's
a good
never
idea.
anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah. Or your neighbor's mailbox.
The neighbor's mailbox is even
Might be better. Yeah.
Yeah, I battle that every year. That's why I keep trying to dig up my cannas, even though I can't kill them. But the Japanese beetles
They
love
love canna
them.
lilies.
They'll start to bloom, and then they just go to town on them. All right, Mikey on YouTube is asking, I have a variegated pink lemon tree. It will flower, but the flowers will fall off and never produces fruit. If it's still in its nursery pot, should I repot it? So this is pretty typical
He
of
says report it.
young citrus trees. And I have this question a lot. So while it could be a watering issue, I'd say it's more than likely it's just a young tree. They will flower, they'll lose their flowers. Couple years later, and maybe the next year, they'll start to produce what looks like tiny little fruits, and it is, but those won't finish. Those will also start to fall off. I would say about year 5 of having this plant is when you're going to really start getting a lot of fruit on that. So I would say just patience. We talk about this a lot with gardening. It's also the same with things that are indoors. You just have to have patience year to year, but you will get fruit on that. Don't
Eventually.
worry, Mikey. It will be just fine.
Yep.
All right, need something tall for a 20-foot plus area and slim to block the view of a neighbor's home, also fast growing.
Oh, wow.
Neighbor.
I would say Taylor juniper, if it's got enough sun, would be probably the best bet.
Yeah, definitely skinny when it comes to
yeah.
that. And that's an evergreen plant for sure.
Yep.
It's one of our best sellers for that.
Well, and it's technically a native in
Yeah.
that it is Juniperus virginiana, which is related to just eastern red cedar. So,
Yeah.
I guess you could do emerald green as well.
Yeah, a little bit slower.
a little slower.
Yeah.
Won't quite make 20 foot tall, but Taylor juniper will. for
Definitely.
sure.
Yeah.
So that'd be my.
You got to know that they're super, super skinny, so you might need more than just one because
Right.
one doesn't do much, Now, if you can go with non-evergreen options, there are other options for this
Yeah.
too, like slender silhouette sweet gum,
Yes.
a columnar hornbeam, English oaks that stay fairly thin. Now, they lose their leaves over the winter, but they're fantastic in the growing season. Let's think about some of those.
What are those little shimmery ones that are all really tall that you see on fence rows all around?
You're probably talking about white poplar, maybe. They shimmer in the breeze like crazy.
Oh.
They're not super skinny. Usually, as they age, they get older, but they can make stands. They're like invasive almost here. They got like
Yeah.
kind of whitish bark and the
Yeah.
backside
Yep.
silver.
I think you'd have a hard time finding any because.
Oh, you can't find it. Yeah. I heard that Monrovia grows it, but we were like, nah, we don't really want those. Yeah.
Well, they're one step away from a Bradford pear.
Pretty much. Yeah.
No.
You said those two words on gardening.
Well, you
Inside.
said
He said it.
you were describing silver poplar, which to me is just as bad.
Pretty
Okay.
much.
All right, because the season is upon us. The great
Yeah.
white plague
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
here before we
It
know
will be here soon.
Right.
Heal yourselves.
Hey, y'all, we have another question from Joyce. Joyce says, Austin, when do you prune your boxwood? But also, don't tell me 3:30, Josh.
She's serious.
Josh had his finger up, ready to say
4
it.
o'clock on boxwoods.
Hey, Joyce, great to hear from you again. Okay, honestly, right now is like a great time for boxwood because they're still left over, like some of those stems that shot in the fall, which we all deal with boxwood a little bit. And what you noticed is any of those stems that did flush in the fall and they poked up above most of the foliage, a lot of that this winter got burned. So you can really see the burn on top of boxwood. Let's go ahead and get that burn taken care of. Let's take it back to the foliage where it's nice and round and tidy like we like, and then we're going to see a nice uniform flush, okay? But it's time to do that. I mean, we always talk about it. February is the time for boxwoods. It is time to get it going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
You hear the music?
I do.
Here's something.
It can't be an hour already.
What?
Can't be. That was
It's
so
over?
fast.
Alrighty. Well, it does mean that we've got to get out of here for this Saturday morning, but next Saturday morning, which is the day after Valentine's Day, don't forget your sweethearts. Come out to the nursery, get a gift card. Would be great.
Yeah.
Put in the little
exactly.
Hallmark holiday.
Yeah,
thing.
with the flowers.
Buy a plant.
Chocolates?
Yeah, chocolates. That would work. So
Yeah, guys, all of your brides love plants for Valentine's
do.
Day. It's the greatest thing to give, right? Caroline, tell them.
Sure.
See?
Yeah.
Okay.
She knows.
all righty, folks. We appreciate you. We love you. Come back and see us next Saturday morning for Gardening Inside Out. We'll see you then.